Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, Achane. We're hearing all kinds of trade rumors right now. I will tell you right now at the onset of the video that majority of everything you hear is really clickbait, people trying to get views. It's not any concrete information circling around. You won't hear it from Schefter or Rappaport, but a lot of people are trying to be the first on predicting an obvious thing that could happen because it makes you look like you're connected. Nobody knows. Nobody's getting fed any information. It's a bunch of garbage, but we'll break it down on the maybe likely trade scenarios. So it is easy to predict one of these guys probably gets moved, but we're not hearing anything specific, but we're breaking it down anyway. We're going to tell you what might be a good landing spot or what to look out for. Maybe you're holding on to Kamara because you think he'll get traded to the Kansas City Chiefs because you keep hearing it. Is that a smart move to even anticipate something like that? That's what I'm here to discuss. What is good? What is bad? What is smart? What isn't? What could happen? What might not happen? The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Let me start off again by saying, again, nobody knows anything. This is a bunch of speculation, conjecture. And you have like these landing spots right here. Kansas City, Green Bay, the Chargers, the Steelers have been named as potential landing spots for Devon Achane. Again, nothing coming from Schefter or Rappaport. And so, but the rumors are so widespread, I got to come out here and talk about it because everyone asks me every second, hey, you hear a rumor that Achane's getting traded? We don't know that he will. And these landing spots are ridiculous. Green Bay, you got Jacobs. Chargers, Hampton's a phenom. He's just injured right now. I don't think the Steelers make any sense either. And then it's like KC, yeah, we think that does make some sense, but would they even use him right? I don't know if they should. They probably would, but this is a team that's very complicated with that kind of thing. They haven't had a good running back and consistent running back for a while. So it's hard to really know what this would look like in KC. But if we go over to the list of NFL teams and we just try and cook up something, the only team that really sticks out like a sore thumb would be Chicago. And I do believe Chicago, and it might be Kenneth Walker. It might be Kamara. Chicago is going to have some struggles come for Caleb in the next couple weeks, which I think they will. Caleb will be up and down. And you're going to have Ben Johnson going, how do I take the pressure off Caleb? And the pressure taken off Caleb's plate would be a direct relation to an increased running game, where the defense has to focus on something that's not Caleb Williams. And I think that makes some sense. The other teams in spots here, I just don't see how anything pencils out. There's really no team that's in dire straits for a running back that can win right now that doesn't have a running back. Houston, they have Marks. I don't think they would trade up for Marks. I know everybody's down on Marks right now because he didn't do what he was supposed to do in week number 5, but they did trade up for him. And, you know, you look at a team like Washington, Ja'Cory Cross-Gamera, we've been calling his rise for a while, and he's finally blowing up. It doesn't make sense for them to trade for a running back. New York, they've got Scattaboo. Cowboys have Javonte Balling. I mean, there's just no real option here. Cardinals are in no position with Benson down and out anyway. They're in no position to go get a running back. I mean, maybe they think they are. Who knows? But this is not, there's not a lot here. Green Bay, that was such a weird name to throw out there. It really is Houston. If Houston doesn't believe that their guy is Woody Marks, which I think they do believe that. I think they traded up again to go get him. There's a rumor out yesterday that was saying that they don't see him as anything but a change of pace, like receiving back, and they don't trust his injury history. That was a bunch of malarkey. Somebody coming out with that report because you heard from the head coach's own mouth that he wants to give more carries. Now, he didn't. You could say, I don't believe anything he says. True. But then don't believe anything you're hearing on this front either if you're not going to believe that. But Houston would be the only other team I could imagine maybe something happening. But I do believe that it would be Chicago. So back to the running backs here that we have on screen. Achane, or would it be, and let's get this report off that makes no sense to me. Would it be Hall? Would it be Kamara? One of these three running backs, I believe, will be in Chicago. Or Walker. Let's pull Walker onto the screen as well, because Kenneth Walker does actually fit the bill as well for a player that could get traded. Now, Charbonnet, it's possible Charbonnet does get dealt instead of Walker. I don't think that would be the case, and this was kind of how we felt about Bigsby getting traded in ETN, and they sent Bigsby packing, which would have been the opposite of what you would have thought, because you'd think they would send ETN not wanting to pay him, send him away, keep the younger guy. But Walker probably is on the move if Seattle needs to make a move later, if they want to make a move later. They might not want to do anything right now. That's probably where I lean. I don't think Walker's somebody they're shopping right now. This would be a later on, down the end of the season, trade deadline type of move for Walker. So I want to pull Walker off the table here. And one caveat, if the right offer came along that could help the Seahawks win now, and they believe in Charbonnet, I could see him maybe pulling a trigger on a deal. But Achane, Kamara, Hall, or Walker, maybe. I could see, and I do see, one of these guys on the Chicago Bears or the KC Chiefs or the Houston Texans. Those are the three landing spots. I'm not saying other landing spots are an impossibility, but these make the most sense. Chicago, maybe Houston, KC, and I just don't see KC, because we keep hearing about it. It's a logical spot. That's why people keep trying to predict it. They're trying to pretend they have inside information. Like, I'm hearing from my sources, because it's such a likely place for a running back to maybe go. But these are the two landing spots. I'm going to take Houston out a little bit, and I'm going to say, I think they're third, but I believe Chicago, KC, specifically Chicago, with some struggles ahead for Caleb, will land one of these backs. Now, who would be the best back if we're trying to break this all down in Chicago? I think it would be probably Achane. I mean, Achane's the best running back on the board here. He goes anywhere, he makes the team better. Ben Johnson would know how to use him. He does have a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs type, talent, and the acceleration between Achane and Gibbs is near identical. They're the quickest accelerators in the league. They're both amazing pass catchers. They're both capable of being workhorses any game you need it, but you want to use them in different ways. This would be the best way for, and I don't want it. I want to preface that. I don't want Achane heading to Chicago, because I don't want him in a position where he's relying upon Caleb Williams. However, I don't know that it's any worse than what's going on in Miami, because if Miami Mike loses his job, who's to say that the volume Achane's seeing right now, it stays the same? Who's to say that the workload's exactly the same? I mean, things could change really, really badly. And if Tua goes down at any moment, then Achane, we kind of lose some of the value there anyway. So I guess it's like one of those scenarios that you don't really want it, but it won't be the end of the world if it happens. And it might even be an upgrade in hindsight. But putting him in Ben Johnson's wheelhouse might be the best move out of all the scenarios we could maybe cook up. KC would be really intriguing, but would they use him enough? Would they bring him in, and would Andy Reid have that smirk on his face where he's like, we'll get him involved soon? And, we're wondering, why aren't you getting Achane the ball? Well, we're working toward that. It would worry me. I would be excited about it. I think everybody would, because KC's that team. There's a lot of footballs to go around. Mahomes is phenomenal. I'd be pretty excited. And if they traded for him, they probably would use him. So KC would be exciting. And again, is there a risk there? Sure, there's a risk in staying in Miami, though. But this would be the best player to go to either KC or Chicago. Breece Hall in KC would also be very intriguing. So either one of these guys going to KC, either one of these guys going to Chicago. Houston, I don't think I want that. Bad offensive line. But it'd be better than I guess vanishing and disappearing. Kamara going anywhere will probably be an improvement for him. Walker going anywhere would probably be an improvement for him to get more footballs. But Walker in Chicago, I can kind of envision that. But we'll talk more about this when we get more information. But I just wanted you to know that these rumors are circulating. I know they're circulating. While I don't feel like they're concrete pieces of news at all, like this report right here suggesting Breece Hall, the Jets are open to trading Breece Hall. Who knows what is really, actually true? It makes logical sense that they would entertain trading him if they don't feel like he's their future, and they're kind of going to try and maybe dial this thing back and come at it again next year. I mean, who knows how they're feeling right now in this moment in time. They're the most likely to trade now, though, because their future's kind of being forecasted, at 100% accuracy right now. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to the playoffs. So, yeah, Hall would be the most likely to be moved right now. I could see the Dolphins hanging on to Achane a little longer. I could see the Seahawks saying, unless you're giving us something that helps us win right now, we're going to keep Walker. Kamara could also be moved any second. I feel like Hall or Kamara has a chance of being moved in like the next 48 hours, but it could be weeks because no team's necessarily worried about it right now. Hard to say. Could two of these guys be traded? I'd say less than a 50% chance, or maybe right at a 50% chance, because the landing spots are not very, plentiful. We don't have tons of landing spots. We have KC, we have Chicago, and we have maybe Houston, if we don't believe that they believe in Woody Marks, which I think they do believe in Woody Marks. So it's kind of essentially two landing spots, in my opinion. Now, any team can get involved. The Pittsburgh Steelers were mentioned. I'm not saying a team doesn't say, hey, we're going on a run. Let's get a weapon in here and we're crowded. Who cares? I'm not saying that world doesn't exist. It certainly does. And who knows if Shanahan's like, okay, I'm moving Christian McCaffrey out the wide receiver and we're going to bring in Alvin Kamara. Who knows what in the hell? I'm just kidding, by the way. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm only here to let you know these rumors are out there. There's no substance to them. But it's fun to talk about, and some of you are wanting to know what to do. Don't go trading Alvin Kamara or holding on to Alvin Kamara or trading for Alvin Kamara on the assumption of a trade. Don't go trading away Walker or trading for Walker or holding Walker on the assumption of a trade. Don't trade away Achane worried about his future. Don't think, I'll just go get Hall now because he'll be somewhere else. All those things shouldn't be considered when you're making a trade. Trade for the now, trade with what you know is in front of you, but do know that these are four players that potentially could be on the move, and the likelihood of two of them getting traded is not extremely high. One of them getting traded, it's a pretty good chance that we have one of these guys moving, and I think the most likely teams are KC and Chicago. Don't forget my live chat Patreon, $10 a month, cancel anytime. It's the best place, in my opinion, to go talk 24/7, 365 with football, like-minded football individuals like myself. I'm on there on and off all day long, 24/7, 365. And we're all piled into this game day lounge right here during any game. During the entire Sunday morning, afternoon slate of games, we're all in there play-by-play, just chatting away. And then don't forget, Underdog, play 5, get 100 using code Smitty. The link's in the description. The link is in the description of every video. Play $5, get 100 on Underdog, promo code Smitty. And then also, we'll see you. I'm live Monday through Friday. I'm live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. I'm live additionally whenever big news breaks, and I'm live almost every single night at midnight. See you all on the next one.